Thank you, Chair. Oh, is DA not going? But I don't mind if we go.
We'd actually like the opportunity to go, but
It's okay. We overtaken. It's fine.
Members, wait.
Only in your dreams.
We've just called it here in the meeting.
And Honorable Skhosana is back also. Honorable Skhosana, please proceed in the meantime. We have been calling for you, but you didn't hear us.
Yeah, because you said you are 1 minute, we are waiting for the chairperson, but it's fine. I just wanted to say, I agree with Honorable Nduli, the chief whip there. Though in fact, because for us, we as Umkondo we thought that this, perhaps the speaker, will propose that we extend this because we know there's a lot of issues which were left out here. Matters which came now later as well need to be attended. Whether we adjourn for now, maybe we'll come back again in August or September, because there's a lot of things which I've mentioned in the past to say correctional service was not done. The judiciary not done at all. We only concentrated on the police. And I think it's injustice to our people that what General Mkwanazi told us on the 6th of July. And the 14th, if we go up to the 14th, so be it. But as far as we are concerned, we are still raising the issue that we have not finished our job yet. And I think because of time, some members as well are tired of sitting here. But I guess that whatever we have established, what we're trying to probe in this ad hoc committee is very, very important. Like any other portfolio committee in Parliament, I think we can do justice by completing what we're supposed to have done, which have not been done. Hence, I'm saying that we need to complete this. We can't leave correctional service untouched. We can't leave the judiciary untouched. Then it means we are not resolving the problem. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Chair, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I don't know what happened to me. I just found myself out of the meeting.
Yeah, you can we can proceed.
Did you afford
we can proceed to the DA now. The MK just concluded their input.
Yeah, I heard Honorable Skhosana, the Democratic Alliance, Honorable Breitenbach.
Thank you, Chair. I don't think that this program is doable at all. Chair, the Department of the Justice Portfolio Committee and the Police Portfolio Committee have got a lot of work that has to be done right now in the foreseeable future. And the same people who have to write this report are the people who have to do that work. And even if they work 24 hours a day, they can't get it done. It's impossible. It's humanly not possible to do it. And so to try and squeeze it into a program that is going to be acceptable now in terms of timeframes is a waste of time, because it will come to the 14th of May and either the report won't be ready or it won't be the quality that we would like to see, or we'll have to ask for yet another extension, which is becoming embarrassing. So I think we should all really be realistic, have a good look at the amount of work that needs to be done, see how long it takes us to have a meeting. We've made very little progress, and we've been meeting for 2 hours now. We've not really made any progress. So when it comes to debating the report, you can imagine how long that's going to be taking. And I just don't think the staff are already run ragged. Already they've been working unbelievably long hours. They've had to do an enormous amount of work, and now they're going to have to do their portfolio committee work plus this. It's not doable, Chair. So I don't think we're being realistic. And so I don't think that the date of the 14th of May is achievable. And I think we should honestly, we should be honest with each other and look at a date that's further down the line. Thank you.
Honorable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm agreeing with the DA on this one. We agree in terms of being realistic on the amount of work that is going to go into
Very
this.
well done.
Whoa, okay, Honorable Breitenberg. But if we use an example of how long it took for us to resolve the terms of reference, this has been a very robust committee. It's not going to be a rubber stamp that the technical team or even the evidence leader is going to produce a report and we are just going to rubber stamp. We will also be engaging, I'm sure, while I know as the economic freedom fighters, we'll be engaging our attorneys. There is a lot of information that we need to go through. We also do know that our evidence leaders were not capacitated as they should have, because right now, even if we just ask for a timeline, we're not going to be able to get it. And that is the very basics of starting to be able to write a report. And it is going to be very embarrassing for us to go back and ask for another extension. I also support the fact that the staff are also tired and there is the double amount of work. So perhaps we should look at having a recess and then pick up again in terms of completing the deliberations and the report. I mean, as things stand now, it would be nice for us to get a draft report, and at least each political party will understand, how it's going to be structured, and we can get our technical teams to start looking at it and combing through all the information, etc., that we have. And then in terms of the issue that was raised about additional witnesses, I didn't know, or I might not have been logged on when we spoke about the Inspector General. I don't know how far we are with that. But in terms of the issues of both the judiciary and the correctional services, look, we had, at some points, Chair, we had made a decision that as evidence comes up that's implicating anybody in those, both the correctional services and both in the judiciary, then we must make a submission and say, okay, this person needs to come before us because it was raised X, Y, and Z, or whatever the issue may be. So again, if we just go on the broad base of we must have correctional services and we must have the judiciary or we must have the NPA, we've long passed that. So we must be able to say, this person needs to come because they need to answer in relation to this, this, and this. This was the evidence. And we had done that resolution a long time. So it's a bit unfair to say that we haven't completed our work because it was on us to be able to make those submissions on who in the judiciary must appear before us, who in correctional services must appear before us, and what it is we need or information we need from them. But having said that, as we close and we are not going to take any further submissions, it doesn't stop us from writing to whoever we need to write to and ask them, as we've been doing, ask them specific questions which they need to respond to in a statement, and that can assist us going forward. And that might be the way on how we can deal with all the information that is coming in now. And I think we must also just be cognitive that even if we do extend and we say, okay, we've got a whole lot of new information that has come before us, and we get an extension and we hear that, by the time there's always going to be something new that is going to come up. So at some point, we just need to make a decision that we have to close. I mean, the spilling of beans amongst and throwing each other under the bus and amongst the criminal justice institutions, it's happening and it's going to continue happening from what we see for a long time. Looks like they're going to all lock each other up, and so be it. But we'll be there. Let us complete our work going forward. So I do think we must just be realistic in terms of the date, and perhaps let's take a breather and also allow the staff to take a breather. Unless we're going to go and ask the speaker to give us a staff that are fresh and frisky and haven't been part of this process for such a long time to start and assist in helping prepare the report. But it's not, and we want to produce a quality report. There's going to be a lot of deliberations and debate as we had in the terms of reference, so we must be alive to that. And thank you, Chair. That's our input.
Honorable Mnango.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chairperson. Good afternoon to honorable colleagues.
Good afternoon to you and welcome.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. If actually somehow I get cut off, it's because I'm not static. I'm just moving around because I'm in a hospital environment here. Honorable Chair, I think in principle we are in agreement with the set date in May. Notwithstanding the issues that colleagues are actually raising, which are really very real in the sense that they may actually have some impact on the date that we actually are targeting for at this point in time. But for the sake of us having a particular target date, I think we need to have the 14th of May and work towards achieving it. If there are unforeseen, developments, then we will be able to see how we actually mitigate against those. But going back to ask for an extension will actually be very embarrassing, to say the least. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Sols. Honorable Vessels.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chair, I agree with previous speakers as well. I don't think this timeline is realistic, although we would want to finish this task and get a report out there and have it make some difference. But I don't think we should rush it. I don't think it's possible, humanly possible, as it has been said by Honorable Breitenbach as well. I think we should be more realistic and ask for an extension that will allow us to complete the report and that it does not, at the end of the day, just ends up being a rubber stamp exercise. I think we should prevent that, and I think this timeline will rush us to such an extent that we won't be able to deliberate, and it won't be a well thought through a report. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, we support the report with reservation. It seems really cramped. And also, we've always said that we need to get back to South Africans. South Africans are waiting for us to conclude. But in all honesty, I don't think we should rush this process, right? There are many other realities also, like mentioned by Honorable Breitenbach and Honorable Mates, also that we need to take into consideration. I think we just need to give it our best shot, do what we can. I'm not even sure how. I'm trying to apply my mind to this, and I think we'll be better equipped after we've had our workshop, actually, in terms of how this is going to unfold. When I see 13, 14, 15, I'm asking myself, is this the entire day? Is this half a day? So in the absence of additional information and in the absence of the members being workshopped in terms of how this is going to unfold and what type of input is needed, we support the report, Chair. Thank you. With reservation.
Nicolette.
Thank you very much, Chair. I have, through the meeting, I've just quickly relooked dates, and if the committee requires, I can present alternative dates that will not take us far into the future, which will take the recess and budget process into account, if allowed, Chair.
The dates that you presented here, ending on the 14th of May, do not take those into account?
No, Chair. It does not take that into account, and based on the same time frame, but if the committee starts, let's say on the 11th of May, after we've completed the budget hearings and reporting to the NA, that will take the committee up to the 10th of June. And again, if we do not make adverse findings against a specific person, and that's triggering a response, but that is up for the committee's decision, then we could even adopt the report by the 22nd of May. And Chair, honorable members, maybe I must just quickly show this on the screen for members to have a better look at the alternative dates. As I say here, the taking the recess and budget process into account, this will be the alternative dates that could be considered. That we start on the 11th of May. Chair, let me rather give the calendar view. That we have the recess period that is running from the 7th of April up until the 20th of April. From the 21st of April, we'll have to the whole budget process up until the 8th of May. And then immediately preceding that, we will start the concluding remarks by Senior Counsel on the 11th of May, having the deliberations on the hearings on the 12th, 13th, and 14th of May. We will then have a report or draft preliminary report on the 18th, considered by members on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. And on the 22nd, we adopt the preliminary report and circulate it to the affected persons. We must then give 7 working days for the response, consider the response, and then ultimately adopt on the 10th of June. Chair and members, but that is only an alternative proposal made, which will really include the recess and the budget process into account. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members.
Andile,
Yes, Chairperson.
yes, I want to hear your views.
Yes, Chairperson. Look, this is an alternative which colleagues, had also prepared as part of giving the full package, to the members so that members can make their own determination. Thanks, Chairperson.
Okay, I'm going to re-rotate because the meeting does not seem to be coming with a clear way forward or statement of agreement on what do we need to do. Maybe even before I rotate, I should advise the meeting that instead of us saying we may need to extend with more time, can we agree to work towards that date, and from time to time when we meet, we can make an assessment of the progress that we were making. If it is difficult for us to say the 15th of May, can we agree to work towards that date? and see if we succeed or not. I'm circulate. I think honorable members have heard the inputs that each of the members made on these matters and what the responses of the content and the legal teams are. Can I re-rotate this item to hear from you what your take is? The African National Congress.
Thank you, Chair. The Honorable Nduli will go first, and I'll come in after him. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thanks to the team for bringing up alternative dates. I just want to make one or two observations, Chairperson. The first one is that with regard to the amended dates, which are taking us to the end of May or somewhere towards the second week of June, I can see that the entirety of April is being cancelled as a period at which no work is going to be done. It's just say recess up until, if you look at, we have the whole month starting tomorrow. Of course, I understand that we've got Good Friday this coming weekend, and those who must go to church will have to do so. And then we then block the entirety of April and say recess. I don't think that is acting responsibly. We can't contradict one another, we contradict ourselves. On one hand, we're arguing that we have been doing a great job, fully supported by the entirety of our population, because of what has emerged on the work of that committee. And so, no doubt, this population is expecting us to provide some recommendations about how to remedy the current situation. And then again, we stand up ourselves and we say, but give us a month to rest. We are tired now. We need the entire month of April to rest before we can start putting together the report. I cannot understand that logic, Chairperson. If the argument is that we are tired, I can't accept that we're going to be tired. We need the whole 30 days for us to rest. My own view is that we must keep the deadline of the second week of May and get the work to be done. When we are closer to that deadline, in circumstances where the work has not been concluded, there might have been some problems along the way, some transcripts are not available, somebody falls sick who had a big job in the writing of the report, many things along the way. We get advised that the work is proceeding, but we think that we may have to extend by another week or two in order to accommodate the following unforeseen circumstances. But to just leave a long, widening timeline that we must now go and focus on budgets, which I agree. Budgets are very involved, very demanding. You get into focusing on budget from the 12th of May, when the budget of the the Justice Committee is the first budget vote to be considered by the House. And so throughout the month of May up until the last budget on the 3rd of June, we would be engaged with the budget processes. But I don't think it is justified for us to, even before we start doing the write-up of the report, we make a conclusion that this time is not enough. Sure, all of us will have our own views about how this matter must be handled, who should be doing what. We must consult our legal teams. We must do all that which we need to do to ensure that we produce a quality report. I do want to qualify my point that the ANC has no intention to see this committee producing a poorly drafted report. But we can't make that decision even before the work of drafting report begins. And I think I need to make it very clear that the ANC will not support an extension in the House, which is as a result of what is being said in this meeting, that no, let's just extend beyond the budget. The ANC won't vote in support of that position. We are of the view that let's allow the work to begin. And if by the end of April, I mean, Nicolette has made another point here, which was important, that it may very well be that by the end of April, we're going to be done with this process. And yet, of course, an important question was raised by Honorable Sangoni about this, the right to reply. And she wanted to clarify under what circumstances we may be confronted by that. But if you take what the report was saying, the initial proposal, the first proposal in this meeting, it was saying if we are not going to have anybody being entertained who must respond because there are adverse finding against them, we would be done by the end of April. Now, to enlarge the period up until June, no, I have to be honest, Chairperson. I don't think that the longer the time, the more the quality of the report. I think the more people who are going to be drafting a report engage with that exercise in earnest immediately after the Easter weekend, the better. And then the advisors at the end of the recess, which is the end of April, and they come back to you and they say, look, this is how far we've gone. We think that we need another week or two or whatever the case may be. I would prefer that we take that approach, but to simply say, no, let's wait until June, I think it's important for me to indicate that the ANC would not vote for that position in the House. And that must never be construed to suggest that we want a report that is of less quality. Quality cannot be dependent only and exclusively on the time made available. Let the work begin, and along the way, we too have a responsibility to ensure there's quality of our outcome. Along the way, we can be convened and be told, in 30 days' time from today, we can be convened and be told that it's 30 days since the team has been working on the report. This is where the work has gone to, and there's a proposal that we need more time so that we can have something we can explain. But to say the entirety of the recess, no work to be done, we are tired and sitting at home. I mean, this process has been very exhausting, but I don't think that ANC members are going to be sitting at home now that there's a recess. His constituents' work and many other political work of the organization, no one is going to be sitting literally at home. Lastly, Chair, and I'm making this point because in all other forums in Parliament, Chief Whip's Forum, Rules Committee, there is a protest that the work of the other committee is compromising the work of two other committees of Parliament, which is the Committee on Police and the Portfolio Committee on Justice. I think we need to be cognizant of that, and I don't think that we should simply enlarge our own period on the basis that we assume within a month the team is not capable of producing a quality report. We are not going to be drafting a report. We'll be engaging with the draft, and I think let's give the team a benefit of a doubt that within 30 days they can conclude this work. And I want to insist on the proposal I was making earlier on, which I can see nobody seems to entertain. At the beginning of this process, some among us were very militant that the extent to which we are prepared to get into the root of this problem, who are ready to meet on Mondays, who are ready to meet using weekends. We've never done that. Why can't we do it now? Why can't we do it now? Because that was a provision made by us. There was a very bold commitment to that direction. Now we're drafting a report. South Africans are waiting for our own recommendation. The least we can do to demonstrate our commitment to the South Africans is to work over time and produce a report for them to entertain and decide whether the work we were doing was worth the time we spent on it. So that is the comments I wanted to make, Chairperson, on this matter. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chief Whip, Honorable Sangoni.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. I think by and large, the Chief Whip has covered me. There's nothing that I really want to add, except to say, Chairperson, the reason, and this is where the Chief Whip ended off, the reason why we are pushing for a conclusion of this process is largely because of the impact that it has on the Portfolio Committee of Justice and the Portfolio Committee on Police. Now, for example, I looked at the it's just unfortunate that that alternative presentation has not been put in there. I know, for example, that the portfolio committee that I chair has got budget vote on the 12th of May, if I'm not mistaken, and we have a lot of work to do. But that is why, Honorable Chairperson, you have alternates, and that is why I think if needs be, we need to make a request to the Speaker of Parliament to beef up the staff component as it relates to the work that needs to be done, especially in supporting justice and the portfolio committee on police. When we signed up for this process, we knew that we remained members of parliament. We knew that we had other responsibilities, but we committed to putting this work first to ensure that it is completed. So it can't be that now the excuse for us is that, no, there's other work. We've always had other work. Other portfolio committees have also suffered because their members are sitting in the ad hoc committee. So I think, like the Chief Whip has said, Honorable Chairperson, we really don't want this process to stretch out any longer than it does. There are options on the table. There are longer hours that we may utilize. We take into account the fatigue that has raised. It's one of the reasons why we were the first to support, for example, a request from the evidence leaders that Advocate Zigalala is brought in, and any other support that may be required. And I would really wish to implore, Chairperson, that in your engagement with the Speaker, you make a request for an additional staff component to either support this portfolio committee or alternatively support justice and the police portfolio committee to ensure that their work is done. So maybe let me stop there, Chair. I think the Chief Whip has outlined our position properly. Thank you, Chair.
MKP.
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, for me, the issue of Raj as Mkhonto Wesizwe Party, I don't think it will help us. Hence, I still believe that this work of an ad hoc committee is a parliamentary work. It's as important as any other committees. I know that some of us, we are members of the portfolio committee. We sit there, and unfortunately, our chair is with us here, or fortunately, our chair is with us here. But indeed, we need a complete, comprehensive report on what we're doing in the last 6 months. But for us to be in rush because there's other job in parliament, we are 400 members in parliament. And I guess others, like the Honorable Sangoni said, we've got alternates as well. But for us to be rushing again, hence I'm saying we have the Justice Committee here as part of this ad hoc committee with the Police Portfolio Committee and Correctional Service, inverted commas. But we've done nothing about that. I'm still saying it, check here. I don't want us to be hiding this thing. That we've done nothing when it comes to the judiciary. We've done nothing to the Correctional Service. Now, because of rights, because of these other issues that, other portfolio committees are suffering. So the job which we are doing is incomplete anyway. Whether we finish in June, whether we finish in May or at the end of April, it's immaterial. We have scratched the surface. I'm still insisting on that, Chair, here. That as Mkhonto Wesizwe, I'm saying it boldly so. To say we have not completed our job. We have not completed our job. But because we have to finish, because of all these other factors which some members are raising here, we'll finish the job, but it must be known that we are not finished. In my view, out of 100%, we've done 40 to 45%. We still have matters, even in the police, which are outstanding, because we did not agree on other matters. And they came sharply towards the end of the ad hoc committee meetings. Now, it's like we are selective. Some animals are more equal than the others. Some people are untouchable because of time. But if I was a speaker, I will give this core committee another 5 months or 6 months for that matter to finish the job. Because this issue of the judiciary and correctional service, I'm still saying it, Chair, here, that we've done nothing. So in my view, Chair, in closing, I'm saying, whatever the committee decides, Chair, we must know that we have not done justice to our people. I thank you, Chair.
The DA.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, you know, Honorable Ntuli is already talking about if we don't finish by the end of April or mid-May, then, you know, we can come and ask for another 2 weeks. It's getting embarrassing. Why don't we decide how long we need, realistically, and then ask for that, and then stick to it? It's not to do with we'll have time to waste and people are going to sit at home and do nothing. No one's sitting at home doing nothing. We're all very busy. If anyone's sitting at home doing nothing, I'd like the recipe. We've got elections coming up. We've got a whole lot of things happening. No one's sitting at home doing nothing. There's no days off for members of parliament, and we all know that. But it's very brave for us to say we can work harder and we can work longer and we can do more hours. We're not the people writing the reports. We're not the people preparing for the budget debates and the APPs. Those people are the same people who are writing the report. And they're only 24 hours in a day, and they are only human. So when precisely do we expect them to do all this work? It's not humanly achievable. Nobody wants to get this done more than me. But to expect the staff to be able to produce this report, plus the Justice Committee budget work, plus the Police Committee budget work, plus the APPs, those are the same people. So realistically, how are they supposed to do it? It's not us that are going to do it. I'm happy to work 5 or 6 or 7 days a week. It's not a problem. But I'm not the person writing the report. And if we look at how we debate, Chair, then 3 days for deliberations is woefully insufficient. Woefully. We will not get done. And then we are going to go and ask for another extension. That is a position I would like to avoid. So I do not think that that is achievable. I remain in that position. Thank you, Chair. Not for more witnesses, not for more evidence, to write a proper report, debate it properly.
The EFF.
Thank you, Chair. So the new dates that Ms. Nicolette presented, it looks like she's only allocated like 3 days for us to sit and review. I do not think, number one, that is even doable. And again, I refer us back to when we did just the terms of reference. So maybe we must go back and see how many days we spent just on the terms of reference. Again, I want to state the EFF position that we are not going to rubber stamp a report from evidence leaders and from the technical team in Parliament. So whatever draft report you give, we are going to go, we're going to dig hard, we're going to come back, and we are going to deliberate. So it's not going to be a rubber stamp report. Also, the issue of saying if there is adverse findings, there is going to be, so it must be a given that there are going to be adverse findings, and that must be catered into with the dates. I agree with Honourable Sangoni about we must get more support staff for the committees, perhaps for police and justice. But I don't know if Parliament is going to release any resources for these committees to continue operating effectively. When we couldn't even get a basic forensic investigator and we couldn't even get a psychologist. We had women breaking down there crying and there was not even an ambulance on standby. So for us to say, Chief Whip of the ANC, Honorable Ntuli, that we must go with the 14th, and then if we are not pushing and it's not looking good, we must go back and ask for another extension. I don't think it's going to work. I think we must just say close it for the end of May, but let's push the dates that we try and conclude by the 14th. But these days already on this new proposal of 3 days for a review, and if there's adverse finding, it's not going to work. But either way, we need an extension. If we want to go back and look clumsy as a committee, which some parties are used to just being clumsy like that, there's nothing we can do. It's fine. I don't think it's a deal breaker in that regard. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mwango. Honorable Vessels.
Yeah, I'm here.
Honorable Sols.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, with regard to, I think first we must be very clear with the statements that MK is making. We cannot celebrate the irresponsible actions on the last day as something productive and efficient. That's number one. And then I agree with the Honorable Breitenbach. We should be considerate around the human resources that we have and the parliamentary calendar. So I'm for putting in all the time, just as the Honorable Ntuli has said as well, that we need to show commitment to finishing and putting in the time. But to balance that two contributions out is to say, let us show that commitment, but also with consideration of the staff that has to do that. And then, but move for extension, give enough time for the staff to do a draft report and enough time for us to deliberate and debate. That's my contribution. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much and welcome, Honorable Sols.
Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Vessels.
Thank you, Chairperson. No, I remain concerned that it's not attainable. It's not possible. And I hear what the Honourable Chief Whip is saying, but I think the point that should be taken is the fact that less than 50% of the transcripts have been received. And that also plays a significant role. I don't think it should be about our availability as members. I think firstly, it's about the staff, it's about the legal team, it's about drafting the report and processing the evidence. And then it is about allowing sufficient time for deliberations. But I do agree with the Honorable Breitenbach. We should rather now not be unrealistic and say, let's take it up until end of April and see where we are, and then we ask for an extension. We sit with the facts in front of us. We know what the situation is with the transcripts. We know what the program is. We know what needs to be done still. And I don't think there's any reason why we should now try to do something that is unattainable and unrealistic and then just get egg on our faces at the end of May, where we then, in any event, will have to ask for an extension, because I can guarantee you, Chairperson, that is what's going to happen and going to transpire. Let's do it now, and let's have a realistic timeline that allows enough time to deliberate and allows enough sufficient time for the staff and the support staff to compile the report. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable James.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not even sure what more needs to be said here. We've expressed our opinion on the matter, and I guess we support the view of Honorable Breitenbach. I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Chair.
Nicolette.
Chair, thank you very much for allowing me to come in. Chair, definitely, the way we have set out the dates is that we will have the concluding remarks by the council and then the workshop by the legal team. Then the committee will go into deliberations. We will after that draft the preliminary report capturing the deliberations, and then only will the preliminary report be drafted and then considered by the committee. So the hearings or the deliberations by members will precede the first initial draft. And then the draft will happen, and after that, members will deliberate on the draft report. I just want to clarify that. Thank you, Chair.
Andile.